Noah's heart stopped as the realization hit him like a rogue wave. His wallet was gone. Somewhere between the sun-soaked sands of Santa Monica Beach and the chaotic pulse of his life, it had slipped away, carrying his ID, credit cards, and a photo of his late brother. He tore through his backpack, panic rising like the tide, as the California sun dipped low, painting the sky in hues of fire and loss. He retraced his steps, sandals kicking up sand as he scoured the shoreline. The beach was alive with laughter, music, and the carefree hum of summer, but Noah felt like he was drowning. That wallet wasn't just leather and plastic, it was a tether to his past, to the brother who'd taught him to surf, to love, to live. He dropped to his knees near a cluster of rocks, hands sifting through the sand, desperation clawing at his chest. "Come on," he muttered. "Please." A shadow fell over him. "Looking for this?" a voice asked, smooth and warm like the evening breeze. Noah looked up, squinting against the sunlight, and his breath caught. Standing above him was a man who could have stepped out of a dream, blonde hair glowing in the golden hour, brown eyes soft yet intense, a smile that felt like it could unravel secrets. He held Noah's wallet in one hand, dangling it like a lifeline. Yeah," Noah stammered, standing up and brushing sand off his knees. "Where'd you find it?" "Near the pier," the man said, stepping closer. "I saw it half buried in the sand." Looked important. He handed it over, their fingers brushing for a fleeting moment, sending a jolt through Noah's veins. "I'm Ethan. By the way." "Noah," he replied, clutching the wallet like it was his heart. "Thank you. You have no idea what this means." Ethan's smile widened, and there was something in his gaze, curiosity, maybe, or recognition. "I'm Mike," he said softly. "You okay? You look like you just lost more than a wallet." Noah laughed, a shaky sound that betrayed his nerves. "It's been a day," he admitted, unsure why he felt so exposed under Ethan's stare. The beach stretched endlessly around them, but in that moment, it was just the two of them, the world fading into a blur of waves and distant voices. They walked toward the pier, talking easily, as if they'd known each other longer than 5 minutes. Ethan was a graphic designer from San Diego, in town for a freelance gig. He had a quiet confidence, a way of listening that made Noah feel seen, not just heard. Noah shared fragments of his life, his job as a barista, his love for photography, the ache of losing his brother 2 years ago to a car accident. Ethan nodded, his eyes holding a weight that suggested he understood loss too. As they reached the pier, the Ferris wheel spun lazily against the twilight sky, its lights flickering like stars. "You want to grab a coffee?" Ethan asked, gesturing to a nearby cafe. "My treat." "Finder's fee." Noah hesitated. He wasn't one for spontaneous plans, especially with strangers, but something about Ethan felt different, safe, yet electric. "Sure," he said, a smile tugging at his lips. "But only if you let me by the second round." They sat at a small table overlooking the ocean, the air thick with the scent of salt and roasted coffee. Ethan leaned forward, his tank top clinging to his frame, and Noah couldn't help but notice the way his laugh lines crinkled, the way his hands moved when he talked about his art. The conversation flowed effortlessly. Movies, music, the best taco trucks in LA, but beneath it all, there was a current, a pull that Noah couldn't ignore. "You ever feel like you're searching for something, but you don't know what it is?" Noah asked, staring into his cup. the words spilling out before he could stop them. Ethan's eyes softened. All the time, he said. Sometimes you find it in the places you least expect. His hand rested on the table, inches from Noah's, and for a moment, the world held its breath. As they parted ways that night, Ethan slipped a piece of paper into Noah's hand, a napkin with his number scrawled in bold ink. "Call me," he said, his voice low, promising. Noah watched him disappear into the crowd, the napkin burning a hole in his pocket, his heart racing with a feeling he hadn't known in years: hope. Noah couldn't stop thinking about Ethan. For 3 days, the napkin with Ethan's number sat on his nightstand, taunting him. Every time he reached for his phone, doubt crept in. What if Ethan was just being nice? What if this was a fleeting moment? Not a beginning, but on the 4th day, fueled by a mix of courage and caffeine, Noah texted him, "Hey, it's Noah." "Coffee again?" Ethan's reply came within minutes. "Thought you'd never ask." "Tomorrow, 7 p.m. Same cafe." Noah grinned, his heart doing a backflip. He spent the day agonizing over what to wear, settling on a black button-up and jeans, hoping it struck the right balance of casual and intentional. When he arrived at the cafe, Ethan was already there, leaning against the railing, his blonde hair catching the light. He wore a fitted gray sweater and dark jeans, looking effortlessly perfect. "You clean up nice," Ethan said, his smile teasing as he pulled out a chair for Noah. "You're not so bad yourself," Noah shot back, his nerves easing under Ethan's warmth. They ordered coffee and talked for hours, the conversation veering from playful banter to deeper waters. Ethan spoke about growing up in a small town, where being openly gay meant navigating a minefield of judgment. Noah shared his own struggles, coming out to his conservative parents, the rift it caused, the way his brother had been his only anchor. "I get it," Ethan said, his voice quiet. "My dad still doesn't talk to me. Says I'm confused, but my mom, she's trying." "It's something," Noah nodded, the weight of shared experience settling between them. "My brother was the one who got me through it." He'd say, "Live your truth, Noah. Screw the rest. I miss him every day." Ethan reached across the table, his hand covering Noah's. "He sounds like he was incredible. And so are you." The touch lingered, electric and grounding all at once. Noah's pulse raced, but he didn't pull away. Instead, he turned his hand over, their fingers lacing together. The cafe faded, the world narrowing to the space between them. They started seeing each other regularly, walks along the beach, late-night diner runs, quiet evenings at Noah's tiny apartment, where they'd sprawl on the couch, watching old movies. Ethan had a way of making Noah laugh, of pulling him out of his head and into the moment. But there was a shadow, too. Ethan was guarded about parts of his past, brushing off questions about old relationships or why he'd left San Diego so abruptly. Noah didn't push, but the questions lingered. One night, under a sky full of stars, they sat on a blanket at Venice Beach, sharing a bottle of wine. Ethan's head rested on Noah's shoulder, their bodies pressed close. "I've never felt this real with anyone," Ethan admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "But I'm scared I'll mess it up." Noah tilted Ethan's chin up, their eyes locking. "You won't," he said, and kissed him, a slow, searing kiss that felt like a promise. The world spun, the waves crashed, and Noah knew he was falling, hard and fast. But the next morning, Ethan was distant, checking his phone obsessively, his smile strained. "Everything okay?" Noah asked, dread pooling in his stomach. "Yeah," Ethan said, too quickly. "Just work stuff." But his eyes told a different story, one Noah couldn't read. As Ethan left, promising to call later, Noah couldn't shake the feeling that something was coming, a storm he wasn't prepared for. The storm hit a week later. Noah and Ethan were at a rooftop bar in downtown LA, the city sparkling below like a sea of diamonds. They'd been laughing, stealing kisses between sips of cocktails, when Ethan's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, and his face drained of color. "I need to take this," he muttered, stepping away. Noah watched him pace near the edge of the rooftop, his voice low but tense. When Ethan returned, his eyes were haunted. "I have to go," he said, avoiding Noah's gaze. "I'm sorry. What's going on?" Noah asked, his voice sharp with worry. "Talk to me." Ethan hesitated, then sighed. "It's complicated. Someone from my past. I thought I'd left it behind." But he shook his head. "I'll explain later." "Okay, I promise." But he didn't. For 2 days, Ethan was a ghost, texts unanswered, calls ignored. Noah's mind spiraled, conjuring worst-case scenarios. Was Ethan married? In trouble? Or had Noah misread everything? Built a castle out of sand on the 3rd day? Desperate, he drove to Ethan's rental in Santa Monica, a small beachside apartment. He knocked, heart pounding, and when Ethan opened the door, he looked like he hadn't slept in days. "Noah," Ethan said, startled. "You shouldn't be here." "Then tell me what's happening," Noah demanded, stepping inside. The apartment was sparse, almost impersonal, like Ethan was ready to bolt at any moment. "You owe me that." Ethan sank onto the couch, head in his hands. "It's my ex," he said finally. "Caleb. We were together for 3 years in San Diego. It wasn't good. He was controlling, manipulative. I left 6 months ago, changed my number, moved here to start over. But he found me." Noah's stomach twisted. "Found you? What does that mean?" "He's been calling, texting, showing up at my gigs," Ethan said, his voice breaking. "He says he wants me back. But it's not love, it's obsession. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you dragged into this mess." Noah knelt in front of him, taking his hands. "You don't have to go through this alone," he said fiercely. "I'm here. We'll figure it out." Ethan's eyes glistened with unshed tears. "You don't know what he's capable of," he whispered. "I don't want you hurt." But Noah was already decided. They spent the night talking, planning. Ethan would block Caleb's number, report the harassment, maybe even get a restraining order. For the first time, Noah saw the cracks in Ethan's confidence, the fear he'd hidden so well. It only made Noah love him more. This man who'd found his wallet and, somehow, his heart. The next day, they went to the police station together. Ethan's hand shook as he filled out the forms, but Noah stayed close, a steady presence. "Thank you," Ethan said as they left, his voice thick with emotion. "I don't know what I'd do without you." Noah pulled him into a hug, the city buzzing around them. "You'll never have to find out," he said, and meant it. But that night, as Noah checked his phone, a message from an unknown number lit up the screen. "Stay away from him. He's mine." The words sent a chill down Noah's spine, and he knew this was far from over. Noah didn't tell Ethan about the text. He wanted to protect him, to keep the fragile peace they'd built. But the message gnawed at him, a constant reminder that Caleb was out there, watching. Noah started noticing things, cars lingering too long outside Ethan's apartment, shadows moving in the corners of his vision. He told himself he was paranoid, but the fear was real. They tried to hold on to normalcy. They went on dates, cooked dinners together, laughed over stupid memes. Ethan's smile returned, brighter each day, and Noah clung to it like a lifeline. One evening, they drove up the Pacific Coast Highway, the ocean glittering under the moonlight. They stopped at a secluded cove, spreading a blanket on the sand. Ethan leaned against Noah, their fingers intertwined. "I love this," Ethan said, his voice soft. "Just us. No noise. No chaos." Noah kissed his forehead. "Me too," but his eyes scanned the darkness, searching for threats that might not be there. The next morning, Noah woke to a trashed apartment. His photography prints were torn, his camera lens cracked, his brother's photo missing from his wallet. A note was pinned to the wall. "You were warned." Noah's blood ran cold. He called Ethan, who rushed over, his face pale as he saw the damage. "This is him," Ethan said, his voice trembling. "Caleb, I'm so sorry." "Noah, this is my fault." "No," Noah said fiercely, pulling Ethan close. "This is his doing, not yours. We're going to end this." They went back to the police, who took the note and promised to investigate. But Noah could see the doubt in their eyes, without hard evidence. Caleb was just a name. Frustrated, Noah hired a private investigator, a gruff woman named Marla who specialized in stalking cases. "Give me a week," she said, her tone all business. "I'll find this guy." While Marla worked, Noah and Ethan stayed close, rarely apart. They moved into a new apartment, a temporary rental with better security. Noah taught Ethan how to use his camera, capturing candid shots of him laughing, sketching, living. Ethan painted a portrait of Noah, his green eyes vivid on the canvas. In those moments, they were untouchable, their love a fortress against the world. But Marla's call came sooner than expected. "I found him," she said. "Caleb's been staying at a motel in Venice. He's been following you both. I got photos, timestamps, enough for a restraining order. But Noah, he's unhinged. You need to be careful." That night, Noah and Ethan sat on their new balcony, the city sprawling below. "I'm scared," Ethan admitted, his head on Noah's shoulder. "But I'm more scared of losing you." "You won't," Noah said, his voice steady despite the fear in his chest. "We're stronger than he is." But as they held each other, Noah's phone buzzed again. Another unknown number. Another message. "You can't hide forever." The words were a promise, a threat, and Noah knew the storm was closing in. The restraining order was granted, but it felt like a flimsy shield. Noah and Ethan tried to rebuild their rhythm, but Caleb's shadow loomed large. Noah installed cameras outside their apartment, checked the locks obsessively, and kept Marla on speed dial. Ethan, usually so vibrant, grew quiet, his sketches darker, his smiles rare. One night, Noah woke to find Ethan gone. Panic seized him, memories of the trashed apartment flashing through his mind. He found a note on the counter, went for a walk. "Need to clear my head. I'll be back." Noah's relief was short-lived. Ethan shouldn't be out alone. Not now. He grabbed his jacket and ran into the night, calling Ethan's phone, which went straight to voicemail. He found him on the beach, near the spot where they'd met. Ethan sat on the sand, knees drawn up, staring at the waves. "I can't keep doing this," Ethan said as Noah approached, his voice raw. "I'm dragging you into my nightmare." "You deserve better." "Don't say that," Noah said, sitting beside him. "You're not dragging me anywhere. I'm here because I love you." Ethan's eyes widened, the words hanging between them. It was the first time Noah had said it, and it felt like a release, a truth he couldn't hold back. Ethan's lips trembled, and he leaned in, kissing Noah with a desperation that matched the crashing waves. "I love you too," Ethan whispered against his lips. "But I'm terrified he'll hurt you." "Let him try," Noah said, fierce. "We're not running." They went to Marla the next day, who had new information. Caleb had been seen near their old apartment, violating the restraining order. The police arrested him that afternoon, a small victory that felt like a turning point. Noah and Ethan celebrated with a quiet dinner at home, candles flickering, music soft. For the first time in weeks, they breathed easier, their laughter filling the space. But freedom came at a cost. At Caleb's hearing, Noah and Ethan sat in the back, watching as he pleaded guilty to stalking and vandalism. His lawyer painted him as a broken man, driven by love. But Noah saw the truth in Caleb's cold stare, a man who'd lost control and hated them for it. He was sentenced to a year in jail, with a 10-year restraining order to follow. As they left the courthouse, Ethan took Noah's hand, his grip tight. "It's over," he said, but his voice held a question. Noah nodded, pulling him close. "It's over," he echoed, and they walked into the sunlight, ready to rebuild. Months later, Noah and Ethan stood on the same Santa Monica beach where it all began. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold, and the air was warm with possibility. They'd moved into a new apartment together, a cozy space filled with Ethan's art and Noah's photographs. The scars of Caleb's actions lingered, but they were fading, replaced by something stronger: love, trust, resilience. Noah held Ethan's hand, the same hand that had returned his wallet all those months ago. "You gave me back more than my wallet that day," Noah said, his voice thick with emotion. "You gave me a reason to believe again." Ethan smiled, his brown eyes catching the light. "And you gave me a home," he said, leaning in for a kiss that felt like a vow. They walked along the shore, the waves whispering their secrets, the future stretching out like the horizon. They'd faced fear, fought for each other, and come out stronger. Noah's wallet, once a symbol of loss, had become a reminder of what he'd found: a love worth fighting for, a life worth living. As the stars emerged, Noah pulled Ethan close, their laughter mingling with the sound of the sea. They weren't just survivors, they were builders, creating a future where love was the foundation, where every storm could be weathered together. And in that moment, under the vast California sky, Noah knew they'd already won something far more valuable than anything he'd ever lost.